Hello and welcome to Godfather Minutes. I'm Alex Robinson.
Wait a minute. Are you trying to tell me that you're Alex Robinson, the podcaster?
I know you couldn't tell because of my excellent McCluskey impression I was doing.
That was pretty good.
Yeah, I was going to do the whole episode as McCluskey, but I don't know if my vocal cords can take it.
Yeah.
Anyway, you're Andrew Robinson.
I am Andrew Robinson. Why don't you try using your voice, but use McCluskeyisms?
McCluskeyisms? Sorry.
Yeah, you know what I mean.
Stand him up! That's my real voice.
No, but seriously, are you going to give us the intro, eh? He says more like, right.
Anyway, yes, this is the Godfather Minute. We are the Godfather Minute brothers. And today we're talking about minute 83 of The Godfather.
Alex, minuto
Numero
83.
83. That's an easy one to remember. 83.
You got it.
83. That means 83 in Italian. I wonder if I'll be able to remember any of these numbers. I was trying to remember what 6 and 7 were. I could not remember.
Let's give you a quiz. 54.
Yolanda Vega.
You got it.
Okay.
How about 18?
Francesco Rinaldi.
You got it.
I got this. Once it goes in,
No,
I didn't go to college to become stupid. We're talking about minute 83. Mikey is getting ready to meet the Turk. In fact, they're in the car. Mikey just got in the front seat of the car, and the Turk lets him know he wants this all to work out, and that he hopes he's not hot-headed, and that Mikey should keep an open mind.
Yeah, why not?
And after that, McCluskey frisks Mikey and declares him clean. He is declared clean. He passed the McCluskey challenge.
We have an affidavit here that says Mikey's clean. Where is it?
Signed by a police officer. They bring up the murder of McCluskey and the Turk in Godfather 2, right?
They do, yeah.
During the trial.
That's
trial,
right.
yeah.
So. Yeah, I don't remember the wording, but absolutely.
Nice little callback here.
Yeah.
So, what does the Turk think of Mikey? Does he think he's a gullible sucker? Does he think he's
Well, he says in an earlier scene, or no, it's Sonny who says in an earlier scene to Hagen, and get this, they want to send Mikey because they know he's a civilian, I think.
Yeah.
But I guess personally, what is he?
Or even as just whatever, does he?
Gosh, I don't know. I mean, it makes me wonder what the word on the street is. Sollozzo's not a dummy. He's going to do his homework and get as much on him as he can. But what would his sources tell him? He's a war hero, kid.
Yeah, he's a
captain. He's a stand-up guy.
He's a stood-up guy.
He's a stand-up guy, Phil. Damn it.
Well, I have to think I feel like we brought this up, but I feel like all people in the mob must kind of like have some contempt for regular people who are trying to go legit. You know what I mean? So,
and there's probably just a general lack of trust. I mean, in order to make it in the organized crime world, you have to always be doubting people's intentions.
Suspicious,
so he's probably very suspicious.
So you think he thinks something's up?
I think he's cautious.
He's very friendly at this beginning.
He is very friendly. Yeah,
it's a good trick to have Mikey in the front seat and McCluskey and the Turk behind him because it makes him he feels more vulnerable. Like, you know what I mean? You can't quite see what they're doing or anything back there, and he doesn't want to get carload while he's in the suit.
Do you think that's going to come up in current events? You know, how, let's pull a Pantangeli.
Oh, right.
You think a carload?
There was another thing with Roger Stone in The Godfather. Oh, somebody said he was going to show cause. He's going to go before judge and show cause.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Whoever's writing that story.
Oh my gosh! So this is life mirroring art, right?
Mirroring life.
Life.
Yeah.
Mirroring art. Yeah, so I think Sollozzo is just very cautious. And is it in this minute where... Oh, no, it's the next minute where they do the old... loop-de-loop on the George Washington Bridge.
Right.
So we'll talk about that.
Loop-de-loop. Driver's ed.
So I have to point out, Alex, McCluskey looking pretty dapper.
In that, what is he wearing? Like a bowler?
He's wearing a bow tie and like a derby.
Derby.
He's dressed to go out.
Yeah, well,
look at him.
Going to a nice restaurant. He wants to dress up for the part.
Because I always expect to see him in his blues,
his dress blues.
Yeah.
I guess he's off the clock here though, so they can't. He shouldn't really. Would that be worse if he was wearing his? I guess shooting him while he was in his uniform would probably be worse.
Yeah,
but he got mixed up with the rackets.
It's actually better for the Corleones that he's not wearing the uniform, because all the newspaper men are going to take pictures of kind of this dead guy,
right?
Like a dead cop. That's going to draw a lot more heat.
That would be blood is a big expense.
Yeah.
So the follow-up question I had, because I feel like he thinks Mike is like a gullible rube.
Okay.
So, do you think if the situation, let's just suppose that the Turk had approached Don Michael Corleone about the deal, do you think Mikey would have done it?
You think he would have been hot for the deal? Is that what you're asking me?
Yeah, Mikey would, or is he like, no, I'm trying to get out of the mob. I don't want to get further in with dirtier business.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Right.
So if this whole thing had happened 5 years from now and Mikey were...
Yeah. I mean, obviously it would be different because Mikey wouldn't have become the...
It's a great question.
I
mean, I think Mikey would have taken the deal, not because he would have wanted to get in that business. And it's counterintuitive because he wants to get out of illegal activities. Yet he sees the strategic value of getting into drugs. Maybe not now, but...
Right.
5-10 years from now.
Yeah.
And so I don't think he could resist another family getting an edge over his family. And so he would take the deal.
Yeah. I mean, going into drugs would actually maybe help him become more legitimate because they have more power and, if
that's
force
the trap,
down.
right?
Yeah. That's the paradox of crime. That's the name of this. So the paradox of crime.
Okay. Do you think Mikey, like his father, and like Hagen, would guess that their political protection would run for cover? Because these drugs are dirty business, Alex.
It's hard to say. I mean, we don't know what. I don't get the impression that Mikey. I don't think he's as good as the. I have to feel like the Corleones lost some of their political contacts once Don was out of the picture.
Oh, okay.
Just because if you look at GF2, Mikey's talking to politicians and the guy's treating him like he's like there's nowhere for him to hang his hat. Like Geary's totally totally running roughshod over him. So
and Mo Green suggests that too. It's like the Corleone don't even got that kind of muscle anymore.
Yeah, they're being run out of New York. So I wonder.
Yeah.
But I think you're right, though. I think Mikey would have seen that it's the way of the future. So
yeah, he wouldn't have been able to help himself.
Yeah.
I don't think he would have revealed his intentions at the meeting like Hothead Sonny did.
Oh yeah, of course not.
Yeah. I spoil all my children except for Michael. He knows better. He knows better than to say anything in front of you, Turk, Mr. Turk,
Mr. the Turk,
Mr. the Turk. So a couple notes I have. Sollozzo swears on his children that
swears at his children.
That too. That Don Corleone won't be bothered anymore. And so I was wondering, is that stronger than swearing on your grandchildren? And then later in GF1, Don Corleone swears on the souls of his grandchildren.
Right.
So Alex, what's the ranking? I know you're all about power rankings.
I am about that.
What's a stronger swear?
Well, I think the strongest oath.
Yes, of those three. How would you rank those?
Well, I would say the younger the person is, the more valuable they are as a if you're swearing on their life, then I'm assuming that means if you're lying, then that person will die.
Yes.
Right? Yes. So if you say I swear on the lives of my children, then obviously they would get killed. So if you say I swear on my grandfather, you're like, well, he's probably gonna be dead in a couple of years anyway. So it's not really much of an oath.
I swear on the soul of my great granduncle. He was very close to me. You got to understand that.
He was removed not once but twice.
He was removed twice, but his soul was removed 3 times.
Yeah, so the soul business,
wait. Let's go back to that. So I could argue that a child is closer than a grandchild because they're your children. They were born from you. Mm-hmm. Now, you and I don't have children, so we don't know what either of those experiences would be like. But I can't help but feel like the further generations they are away, either backward or forward, the more distance there is. Not that you don't care about them, but it's just a little bit more separated from you.
Well, you got to keep them separated. But there's also the matter of keeping on like the family line. So if I swear on the lives of my adult children, then they already have children who can perpetuate the line, it's not as much of a thing. Whereas if you do the youngest people, that's probably going to be the people. If I swore on my grandchildren and they got killed, then my children might be too old to have children at that point.
I guess you don't really know Fredo, Sonny, and Mikey, Alex. That's a great point. I think if Sollozzo said, I swear on or if anyone said, I swear on my grandchild, that might be misleading because you might think, oh yeah, bringing a legacy on, but someone's always going to have more grandchildren than children. So I could sacrifice one grandchild. Singular versus plural.
Or what if it's like a grandchild?
Technicality, the plural, the technicality. He didn't pick up on it.
Or what if you swear on grandchildren that you don't have yet? Like TBA. Grandchildren should be around to be named later.
Sonny, you can't take credit out for grandchildren you don't have yet. They might not even exist. So what about the souls then?
Well, the souls is even more of a commitment because, I can swear on the lives of my children and so they get killed, they still get to go to heaven with Jesus and everything. But I assume if you're swearing on their souls, then that means if you break it and then your grandchildren will be burning in hell forever in Christian hell
and they
forever.
won't be able to. Whoa, they could. Well, wait a minute.
Whoa, are you finding a loophole?
I think I found a loophole. I went to the Hagen School of Consiglierity. If you're just swearing on their souls, then it doesn't mean they'll die in the flesh. They'll live regular, fruitful lives, perpetuate your legacy, and then their souls will burn. Yeah.
Let them lose their soul.
I swear I was not setting you up for that. So maybe this is a criticism of religion. You actually look at
the Turk is? Or
I guess Puzo.
Coppola or
Puzo writing that Don Corleone swears on the souls of his grandchildren as long as they're alive and keep my legacy going. He doesn't say that, but that's what he's thinking.
So he's willing for his grandchildren to burn, even so if he breaks the peace.
Yeah, it sounds like
that's a hard business, man.
Yeah. So you're saying souls of the grandchildren is the strongest oath. Next is grandchildren, and then finally our children.
Yeah, right? And then although I guess you could also say like on the soul of my mother, or you know what I mean? Because that's also once you're getting into souls, then I think parents. I don't know. That's tough.
Yeah,
which is the harder, because those Italians, they love their mothers, so it seems like swearing on their mother would be the,
the old Italian riddle.
What's that? What's that?
It's been told to me. I don't know if it's just Italian, but Italians have told me this. That there's a test. If you're in a rowboat and the rowboat tips over,
it's pronounced robot,
and you can only save either your wife or your mother, who do you save?
I save my mother so that she can make more children, make another new wife for me.
And that's exactly because you can always get another wife.
That's true.
You can never get another mother. Don Corleone really should have said, I swear on the souls of my grandchildren, except for that one that was picked up for petty theft in Reno.
I like the way
you can have him, Sollozzo.
The way you make he's like, I swear on the souls of my grandchildren.
He says it like that.
Really?
I exaggerate a little bit, but he does have that inflection.
Yeah.
You'll see in about 18 minutes?
How many minutes left? Well, speaking of which, we're getting close. This is the Turk now. We're getting into his final scenes. How long until the Turk
Well,
gets
and I have a
killed?
confession. I have not even started the next countdown. So that's my goal this Saturday, is to work on it, to finish it.
Oh, finish it.
Yeah, lock it down.
You get the spontaneous creation. That's the
I'll
best. The best stuff happens when you're under the gun.
It is, yeah. Apparently the Beatles wrote the entire Sgt. Pepper album in, was it like 4 hours?
I don't even think they wrote most of it. I think a lot of it was improvised.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
They were geniuses, man.
So minute 90, Alex, that's how many minutes we have left.
So we're at minute 81. That means there's 9 minutes left.
So this is minute 83.
Okay, so there's 8 minutes left.
Repita, 83.
83.
7 minutes left.
Have a seat, then order your meal. Drink some wine, try the veal. Ask for permission, then go to the can. When you come back, you'll have more than your dick in your hand. 2 shots each, you'll be on the next flight to Sicily.
It's perfect for us. They got an old-fashioned toilet.
Shoot the Turk and McCluskey too. How many days until you do? We're counting down. Come count with me. You ain't gonna miss the Turk or Paulie.
I know how to one.
We're counting down.
McCluskey.
Yeah.
I was going to bring up first of all, before they even get to the frisking part, McCluskey does that weird handshake where he like tries to shake hands with Mike, but it's like over his back. So it's like Mikey has to shake his hands. He has to, you can't really quite see what their hands are doing because it would have looked so awkward. They're just basically like touching hands.
I was shaking hands that way with 1,000 young punks.
And then they frisks him.
Huh.
I have a funny bit of information about the frisking. This guy named Sonny Grosso he was a technical advisor on the film. He was an ex-cop. So he helped about like police procedures and also mafia guys and stuff like that. And
did he teach McCluskey how to frisk Mikey?
well, they were doing the scenes, and Sterling Hagen was like, "Well, why don't we ask the expert how he's supposed to frisk him?" Because they were wondering how he should frisk him, and the cop was like, "Well, you." To himself, thinking like, well, you wouldn't frisk someone once they're already in the car.
Yeah, it's very awkward.
He was like, you would have frisked him before he got in the car. Mm-hmm. He doesn't want to say that because then the movie and stuff. So he's like, well, part of being a police officer is you just have to improvise. So he says, oh yeah, you'd have him kneel on the front seat, and then like, so that whole thing was just made up by Sonny Grosso as a way of like trying to not derail the whole film by having.
It's pretty convincing.
Yeah,
and look, he just does it as a matter of fact, and he's clean.
It's also weird enough where you think, well, that's probably is how they do it.
Yeah. It's just they don't think Mikey doesn't think twice about it. Mm-hmm. McCluskey goes right, and he certified him clean, so it must work.
Like, I don't know if Mikey had a gun in his sock, like strapped to his ankle, how would McCluskey have known? It's not like he felt his legs really.
Yeah.
So it's weird.
Yeah.
McCluskey's getting a little. He's getting soft. What was it? What was the Turk said? He's getting.
The old man is getting.
Would I have been able to frisk Mike from the back seat 10 years ago?
No, would I have been able to get him soft? He doesn't say soft. Sloppy?
He's getting.
No.
He's getting.
We asked, we'll answer. So I have another point in this scene. Sollozzo says to Mikey, I hope you're not a hothead like your brother Sonny. You can't talk business with him. Mm-hmm. But it's strange because before they tried to assassinate Don Corleone, it was Sonny who was hot for the deal.
I think he means now.
He can't because he's too hot-headed. Yeah, that makes sense.
Which is funny because you think that the Turk in his research would have that Sonny would have a reputation as a hothead, but I guess he assumed that his business sense would override, his greed would override his temper, but clearly it's not the case.
Oh, you mean in reconciling things with the Turk?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because the Turk was like, okay, if we take out the Don, that means Sonny's in charge, and he was hot for my deal, so
he'll take it.
Yeah, but
he's
not, he didn't take into account his hot-headedness.
Well, I think Sollozzo's Consiglierity got it wrong on Sonny's resume for the Turk. He put that he's hot for the deal, but what he was supposed to put, he was hot-headed for the deal. It's one word difference.
It's a subtle, those little things. You can't trust your consigliere. Always double check your consigliere.
Always get a wartime consigliere. So another point, McCluskey in the scene says, he's a good kid.
Yeah.
He's a good kid. And earlier he says, what do you mean telling me my business, eh? So he uses that a lot. It has a very different meaning here. What do you make of that?
Wait, so first time he says, what are you doing telling me my business,
What are you doing telling me my business, eh? And this time he's like, he's a good kid.
I guess the other one sounds more like, like, what are you gonna do, huh? And this one's more like, he's a good kid, like a dismissive kind of like, don't worry about it, sort of. It's subtle. It's like Chinese, like subtle tiny things in the way you pronounce the words can have a dramatic difference.
I think it would have been different if he had said to Sollozzo, he's a good kid, huh?
He's a good kid. Huh?
What are you doing? Calling him hot like his brother Sonny, huh?
Why does he say he's a good kid? Because he's a war hero?
I was wondering that. I mean, he apologizes too.
Yeah.
Even the apology, I was wondering. I was going to ask you, is it legitimate? It seems legitimate.
I think it's legitimate. I think McCluskey is
Sorry about the other night.
I think he's a pragmatist. He kind of knows, like, well, this Tatalia thing might not work out, huh?
Yeah.
So he's like, that's why he's kind of buttering up Mikey, so that, hey, you never know, they might throw me some business. Wasn't it established that they had done business before in the book? So maybe maybe McCluskey's like, he got me up in the middle of the night to do that. So now that he's calmed down, he's like, I gotta make friends with these mugs, huh?
Yeah. And he realized that he crossed the line. And even in his apology, he says, I guess I'm getting too old for my job. Too grouchy. Can't stand the aggravation. You know how it is. That's the best part. You know how it is. Mikey's, how old is he at this point? Like 23 or something?
He is really young to be, well, he must be old. He must be older than that. Well, he was in college.
We do this every time.
Oh, I know. Well, it's okay. Well, how old is Michael Corleone? We asked, we'll answer. All right. That's 2 already. Mike's age.
And what does McCluskey mean when he says, you know how it is? Is he referring to just being aggravated or punching someone because you're impatient? What does he mean by that?
You busted tons of guys' jaws. Yeah. You know what I mean.
Come on, you frisked thousands of guys over in Japan where you were fighting. I
think he's just kind of like trying to establish a kind of camaraderie between, like, the same old grind.
Yeah. There's no rest for guys like you and me, right, Mikey?
Let's make this guy look like he got hung in his cell. Break this guy's jaw. It never ends. McCluskey is 58.
Oh, okay. Oh, by the way, it is Mark McCluskey.
It is Mark, not Matt McCluskey.
It's Mark. I looked it up,
Yeah, that still sounds weird.
Yeah.
Mark McCluskey sounds like a relief pitcher from the Oakland A's.
Mark McCluskey.
Boo.
He throws a wicked foul ball.
Does he?
No, knuckleball. Didn't we say that already, I think?
Did we already go to
I think we went knuckleball because he punches.
Oh, yeah.
Because he punches Mike. Knuckle sandwich.
Yeah, so he's 58 years old. He's 6'5", Sterling Hayden.
McCluskey or Sterling Hayden?
Both, I assume both.
Yeah, big guy.
Yeah.
Big people are more likely to move up and get promotions, and I'm guessing in the police force that holds true also.
Yeah. But do you think that's getting too old then for it? If he's only 58, I guess that's, you know.
I don't know. Back then, you probably just kept working. It was a lucrative business.
Yeah.
I mean, he made a lot of money. He made $10,000 just for pulling the guards off of the hospital. So that
a lot of money in that. A lot of money in that white power.
Yeah, $10,000 back then is a lot.
Yeah, that's true.
What else you got for this minute, Alex?
Well, I have two other facts about Sterling Hayden.
Okay.
His last film, he played John Brown.
Okay.
In the TV movie The Blue and the Gray. I think he's perfect for like a John Brown type guy.
Definitely, yeah.
If you look around the internet, there's a picture with a big bushy beard, and I wonder if that's really it. But and apparently, every time he completed a movie, he would ask the director, "All right, when you took me, who did you really want for this picture?"
Oh, really?
Yeah, I guess.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
So how would Coppola have answered that question?
Who would he have wanted?
Oh, boy, back then in the 70s, a big guy. Oh, you know who could have done it? Who's the guy? Yeah, he was in early 70s movies. Who's the guy who was in Young Frankenstein? He played Frankenstein.
Oh, Peter Boyle. Oh, Gene Wilder?
Oh, yeah. That's really funny. I was going to try to do the Willy Wonka voice. I can't do it. Like, stand him up. Like,
try talking like Willy Wonka first, and then segue into the.
Yeah, we pull the guards off your father's hospital room, so that Sollozzo's man could come by. Sollozzo's like, I pay you all this money so I can kill Don Corleone. And McCluskey's like, and you get nothing.
Wait, stop. Don't.
Yeah. There's no way of knowing which way the graft is going. It's like Zeppo now. Going.
No.
Come on, Peter Boyle, right?
Peter Boyle would be good. Yeah.
He's a big guy, taxi driver.
Yeah. I mean, obviously he's not the same as McCluskey, but yeah, I think he could have pulled it off.
Yeah. He's not as grouchy, but he probably could have done it.
Or he's grouchy like in a different, especially back then he was,
Well, maybe he just would have played the role like in Young Frankenstein.
Put it on the roof!
Stand him up! But Captain, he's a war hero.
Said a give. Have you ever been frisked?
Boy.
I mean, like really frisked, not like, oh, we're going to a concert venue and they kind of just pat you down.
And I didn't request it.
Yes.
I have been frisked.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
What was the context?
Actually, just recently in my school district, there was an online threat against the school, and I responded to support the school. I probably can't talk about it too much.
What do you mean you responded to
the role I play in the school district? My services were required to support the school in need. And so in order to enter the school, I was frisked. My team and I were frisked by police.
Because they thought you might have been the threat?
They just do that as a precaution for anyone entering the school.
Every day?
No. This was a one-time. There was an online threat reported to school. Okay. They initiated a protocol,
right.
And then my department responded to help.
Wow.
And so we were all frisked.
Yeah. You sounded definitely like you were trying to not admit something in a court of law. You're like, I have services which are needed in the school.
Yeah. By the way, I also own stock in IT&T.
We have a sworn affidavit.
Yeah. I don't know. Was that that's probably it. Yeah. How about you?
I don't think so. Well, let me tell you. Let me bring. You can cut this out if it's too controversial. Many, many years ago, when you and I were filming one of our movies, that was Terry Silver, Robot Killer.
It was Robot Killer. Go to robotkiller.com.
Yeah, and then we have one of our Patreon levels. You can get a copy of the movie.
Yeah.
But you, me, and our other co-creator, Larry, were all we're all brought down to the station house by cops.
Yeah.
Because we were filming around the reservoir.
Mm-hmm.
And they were like, oh, these guys running around a reservoir in a hazmat suit.
And this was post 9/11.
Yeah,
9/11.
I think it was like September 12th or something. It was like within 6 months of 9/11.
And this was a reservoir just north of New York City that water supplied New York City's drinking water.
Right.
So.
Yeah. So we were filming.
We really didn't think that through.
Yeah, we did. We thought we were still like 16-year-old kids who could get away with being jackasses. So anyway, so they hauled us downtown into the station, but I don't remember them frisking us.
No, I don't either. No.
I think once they saw us and started talking to us, they realized we were just a bunch of jerks. They dummies.
They did confiscate that day's shoots, the little mini DV cassette.
Yeah.
Never got it back. I even
back.
went there, and because there were several scenes we shot that day, so it's probably on some evidence shelf somewhere.
Okay, we're gonna break into the evidence room, get the tape back, and we can restore that lost footage into
we'll play it on the bonus content.
Totally,
It's perfect.
Perfect. One of those old toilets.
Yeah, we'll tape the tape. We'll fasten it behind the toilet. They got an old-fashioned evidence locker. Easy to pick the lock.
When you look back at olden times,
I'm going to put some background music there. I don't know for when you reminisce about olden times.
About the good old days.
But what should be the music? I almost feel like it should be like a horse and buggy and kind of strings, like a la Little House on the Prairie.
Yeah, I could see that. Yeah, all right.
So when you reminisce, what are you thinking of?
I totally forgot.
Sorry.
I totally threw
I knew
me
I
off.
shouldn't have cut you off.
What were we? Right. You were talking about the big deals. The like up until fairly recently, like let's say 35 years ago, people's faces were not necessarily on their driver's licenses.
Really?
Like, or, even if you think like in 1950, people's pictures were not on their driver's licenses.
Yeah, I guess
a card that said your name and everything on it. Like, how on earth did cops ever stop anyone from committing a crime back in olden times? It just seems so, you show up in town, you're like, hey, my name is John Smith. It's a name just made up, and like,
I guess the description gets out.
I guess.
And maybe there was a lower threshold. Yeah, it was easier to disguise yourself, but there was possibly a lower threshold for getting caught.
The reasonable doubt.
Yeah, maybe like they rounded up that many more guys who
Right.
fit that description.
Yeah.
Like if you were a stranger in town, you were immediately suspect.
It just also makes me wonder what thing in 40 years are they going to be like, could you believe in 2019, like people didn't even have ankle bracelets letting you know where they would be all the time. They just had to rely on you having your phone with you. And,
they control the direction of their cars.
Isn't that crazy? People just smashing into each other all the time and stuff. So who knows what... So I'm just saying we should have invented time machines. We could go back into olden times and commit crimes.
Oh, God, I thought you were going to say put pictures on IDs.
No,
so real justice could take
like, we
place.
should go on a crime spree, especially since we're from the future. They'll never be able to.
If I had a time machine, I'd be doing other things, Alex. I wouldn't just go
Like
back
what?
to commit crimes. Well, you'll have to wait for the bonus content. I just made that up, by the way. But maybe we should talk about that. Would I kill Hitler?
Yeah.
I have to think about that. Probably yes.
You have to what is there to think
No,
about?
I would. Just a matter of when.
Right.
Like pre-World War I?
Like as an infant.
Yeah. Maybe.
You
Or
step-
maybe I would adopt him.
There was
Seriously, and
there
raise
was
him.
a sketch,
How he should-
there was
how
a
he should have been
TV
raised.
sketch that did that where people were sent back in time to get. It was a show called The Birthday Boys, which I think I made you watch one time. And they were sent back in time to kill Hitler when he was like a little kid. And they were like, "Oh, look at him! He's just a little kid," and so
I
on.
saw that.
And then they're like, "Let's go later on when he's like a teenager." And they
Like, he's getting picked on.
Yeah,
He's
yeah, yeah.
bullied. Come on, let's wait a little bit.
yeah. Then he like asks some girl to the prom, and she says no. And they're like, "Oh, we can't kill him now. He's a poor guy." And so then they wind up adopting him. And
I mean, you could adopt him and raise him Jewish. Like the Gandhi thing, right?
what do you mean the Gandhi thing?
Didn't
Gandhi
he-
wasn't Jewish.
Well, I know Gandhi wasn't Jewish. What? Didn't famously someone come to him and say, "Oh, I killed a Hindu man came and said, I killed a Pakistani child. Mm-hmm. And then or is that right? Am I getting it right? And then Gandhi, and he said, I'm in despair. I'm perpetually in.
What do I do, Gandhi?
What do I do, Gandhi? He said, I have a recommendation for you. Adopt a. I'm getting it wrong. Adopt a Pakistani orphan and raise him as your child, but in the faith of it's the Hindu and what's the opposing religion?
Oh, Muslim?
Is that? Oh yeah, Muslim and Hindu.
Yeah.
So basically, raise a child of the opposite faith.
Huh.
Yeah.
That's weird.
You don't know that? You don't remember that?
No.
I messed up the story completely, but that was this man's salvation.
So theoretically, let's say I went back in time and killed Hitler, then Gandhi would tell me, go back to Austria in 1901 and adopt a different kid and raise him to be a Nazi.
In particular, Hitler.
No, if I killed Hitler.
Yeah, but raise a new Hitler.
That's what I mean. He's
No,
saying,
that doesn't work. No, it would be.
Well,
this is just for your own grief. If you kill a baby Hitler and you feel no shame or grief, then the story ends there.
Right.
This guy was in despair.
I'm pretty sure it was Hitler.
Yeah. I narrowed it down to 4, and I figured just to play it safe, right?
Yeah. I killed all the children in the village just to make sure I got,
I don't think you're making it back to that time machine, Alex. Oh, and the irony is you get imprisoned for killing all those babies, and then you write Mein Kampf.
Oh,
and
what?
then you start, or Mein Kampf, and then you Kampf is head. That's head, my head. And then you become Hitler.
Oh, that's like the Twilight, one of those Twilight zones.
Exactly. Maybe you're Hitler now. Anyway, enough joking about Hitler. Anything more about this minute?
That's all I have for this minute. John Brown, 58 years old. Sonny Grasso, McCluskey, awkward handshake.
I'm getting too old for my job. I'm sorry about the other night, Mikey.
All right. What do you want to rate this one?
You ready?
Yes. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, 3.
Right in the middle, eh?
Yeah, you got a bit of McCluskey in there.
Yeah.
A little bit of Turk.
You want to talk about the bonus content?
Sure, what are we going to do?
Well, one idea was to talk about that Mad Magazine comic.
I brought it with me.
Which I thought was great.
Uh-huh.
We've got our headlines. We've got our political cartoons.
Yeah, all that stuff.
Didn't we talk about another thing? Oh, in your time machine, what would you do if you went back?
Oh, that's what we're going to talk about?
Well, I guess we already talked about the Hitler. Maybe we exhausted that.
Believe me, I could talk about time machines forever.
I mean, about 70 minutes ago, we did talk about how the Corleone, what they would do if they went back in time.
Did we really?
We really did, yeah. That was the whole thing with Sonny going back, and that's why at the meeting with Sollozzo, he's like, wait a minute.
Oh, right, yeah, that does. This is a funny show. I should listen to it sometime.
You should, yeah. You know what?
What?
Maybe we recorded that one this afternoon and then went back in time and loaded it into minute 20.
That sounds more likely than us just doing it out of.
Yeah, I take it back. That's what we did.
All right, then. So, everyone, thanks for listening to our little program here. And if you're on Facebook, go to Fredo Corleone's Mickey Mouse Nightclub and go hang out with us there and talk. There's some great Godfather chit chat and jokes on there.
Great memes.
Great memes. Mm-hmm. You said you're going to start making some more Godfather memes.
Yeah, I made one. I posted one a couple of weeks ago. It was Hyman Roth at the airport looking very tired.
Haggard.
And you remember what the meme said?
It said, please, no more Sanka.
Did you notice it was an orange font?
I did notice that. I hope they paid for that. It should be saying, please, more Sanka then. I don't think they would pay us to have someone saying no more Sanka. Unless it was like Master House, Maxwell House.
Chock full of nuts. What do they call that? It's like
chock full of notes?
No, like anti-marketing when you're not raising your brand, you're dissing another one.
Yeah. Negative market, like negative campaigning.
Let's talk about that in the bonus content. Let's come up with some other crime families dissing the Corleones in all the marketing materials.
Okay.
All right. I got some ideas.
All right, good. Let's do it. I guess until then, try the veal. It's the best in the city. Huh?